we have got to, as parents, we have a responsibility to teach our children that these weapons are serious, that these weapons will take your life.
P-A-S-C-A-L.
Real quick, I wanted to address this particular story because this is a very sad story. And this is something I feel like we all need to talk about. There's this new situation, or there's a recent situation that happened even in my neck of the woods. This happened in my neck of the woods, y'all. And it frustrates me because this has to do with gun control and what we do, how we teach our kids in our community on how to control or what to touch, not to mess with, and all of that. I feel like when it comes to guns, we need to be more careful about these things. But kids are out here seeing things in music videos, seeing all this stuff, and they think that they can do these crazy, outlandish things. And there's this girl by the name of Paris Harvey. I'm going to pull up her photo really quick. Paris Harvey went and shot her cousin on during a live feed, unaliving this young boy, her cousin, and then she unalives herself. Now there was an ongoing story. There was a lot of speculation about this. People were talking about this like crazy, saying that she did that, and then there's been rumors that through grief she did this to herself, that she did it to herself. But there is a video that's circulating around here, and I'm going to show you a still of it, and that's it, because I can't show you the video. But this is the live, just so you know. This is from the live. She's holding the gun and all that. This is terrible. And off to the side, in front of this gun, is her cousin. And during this live, the gun goes off, y'all. The gun goes off. And then, because out of shock, I'm just going to give you the details because I can't play the video. Out of shock, because of what she did, because he slumps to the ground like bang, like a sack of rocks. She gets so freaked out, she drops the gun and drops to the floor because she's in shock. Then she tries to grab the gun. The gun goes off in her face, taking her life as well. They were in a bathroom. Apparently, they were at a birthday party, hanging out. Why did they have a gun, a loaded gun, to begin with? I do not know. But they were doing a live, hanging out, showing off this gun. She had it off to the side like this, and the gun went off and takes her cousin's life. But what happens is she made a mistake on the gun in her hand, but then when she tried to pick up the gun went off again, taking her. Another mistake. So there are people out here thinking that maybe she took herself, but it's not true. So I wanted to show you guys, or not show you guys the video, but talk about this particular story because I feel like this is something that we all need to talk about. We need to start being more aware of how easily accessible these guns can be. And also, I think that it's all about training our children. If you're going to have access or have guns in your possession, you need to start teaching. At some point, there's got to be a certain age where you got to show your kids, like, either do not mess with this gun. If you see a gun, walk away from it. Do not touch it. Do not touch it. Do not touch it. You have to do these things to nauseam so that these children know that this is not a toy, that this is not just for ish and giggles, that this is not a music video that you're seeing online where they glorify these things. We need to start teaching our children, especially those who own weapons. We need to start teaching them about the safety and how vicious and violent and dangerous these weapons are, y'all. And if you feel me on this, please hit that like button. Send it all the way up. Real talk. I'll continue here in a second with my opinions on this, but let's go. A freak accident. St. Louis girl fatally shoots cousin herself during a live stream video. She did this live, y'all. at a birthday party. So, two young cousins are dead after one fatally shot the other before shooting herself, according to the police. And the thing is when they finally got, because now this clip, this viral video now is circulating all over the place. Now everyone knows that this was not intentional, that all of this was just one crazy freak accident. Okay. So, in what family members called a quote unquote freak accident during a birthday party at a St. Louis apartment on Friday. So, Paris Harvey, 12, she was 12 years old, y'all. And Colin, hopefully I'm saying his name right, Colin Harvey, 14, were shot and unalived. I'm sorry to say I have to use these keywords. While the cousins were live streaming on Instagram from the apartment's bathroom at about 2 a.m. Friday, according to the family. The cousins were attending a family party to celebrate younger relatives' birthdays for the month of March. Police are still investigating the shooting, but initially called it and you see it right here, I can't say the word, a unalived moment where she shot him and then took herself. I'll say that. We are sending our heartfelt condolences to the family of 12-year-old Paris Harvey and 14-year-old Colin Harvey, who tragically passed away on 3/25/22. The St. Louis Police Department wrote on social media. Paris's mother, Shinise Harvey, 35, said she didn't know who the gun belonged to or how her daughter found it. She says in a video, or she says in an interview, they were making a video and she was playing with the gun, but it went off and hit him, Harvey told NBC affiliate KSDK in an interview. To my knowledge, then she picked it up. She picked it up by the barrel and it went off again. It was not an unalived moment. It was a freak accident. That's what she says. Susan Dyson, the cousin's grandmother, told St. Louis Post-Dispatch she'd seen the Instagram live video depicting the shooting. It wasn't a situation where they were arguing or anything like that. They were playing with the gun when they shouldn't have been. Of course, they shouldn't have been doing it. I think it just went off. It went off by mistake. So, this is the kind of thing that these are the kind of stories that really just frustrate the hell out of me, because there are ways of this kind of story not happening. There are things like this that we hear countless times. I mean, we hear this story a lot, y'all, where it's like, oh, they were playing with a gun and then suddenly it went off. And now that person's no longer here, a young child, a whole future ahead of him snuffed out because of them playing with a gun or someone else being irresponsible and playing with a gun. And I have to say this, y'all. This is extremely important that we all start to realize that what we put on the internet, what we see on the internet is influencing a lot of us, not only just adults. They're influencing these kids out here, these young kids. They see these videos where they're pointing the gun in the camera, you know, with the stacks of money and all that. Okay. And I get it. Like, it's all about image and all that stuff with those music videos. But we have got to, as parents, we have a responsibility to teach our children that these weapons are serious, that these weapons will take your life. There has to be some acknowledgement towards this. And I say this to every single last one of y'all that have a gun locked up somewhere. A knife, even a knife, whatever, bow and arrow, doesn't matter. If you have weapons locked away in your home, you need to have your children know what's going on with those things so that they know not to mess with those things. To know that these are serious. That these are serious things that could take them or their loved one's life. That's what needs to be acknowledged and recognized. Because here's the thing. If you end up just going and locking away the guns, sure. That's great. I'm happy if you're going to lock away the guns. That's one step. That's a step in the right direction. But let's keep it real, y'all. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a whole buck. If the kid really wants to know what's going on, he going to find a way to get into that lockbox. He going to find a way to sneak around and find out what the code to your combination to your safe is. If they're crafty, they will figure it out. So no matter what, the fact that you have that locked away, they still know that it's there. And if they're that inquisitive about it, they're going to try to find a way to get their hands on it. Or they're going to go hang out with some friends who happen to have one laying around. And then they're going to go, ooh, finally I get a hold one. Not knowing how to act around it, not knowing how to hold it, not knowing where the safety is, not knowing any of those things. Because they're too busy trying to look cool. They're trying to have the image. Instead of us going, kids, son, daughter, whoever, this is a gun. We have it. It's in our home. This is how you work around this thing. This is how you deal with it. If you're ever around a gun, you stay the hell away from it. Period. Parents who have weapons need to be more transparent with their kids because honestly, if you have it right there in their face, they're going to be curious. And wouldn't you rather have your child know how to act around guns or those kinds of weapons than for them to be so overly curious about actually holding one to the point where something happens like this? You know, this kind of story, it aggravates me. It really does. Because we really do need to be better out here as parents, as parental units, as leaders of this world. We need to be better with this. And we need to find better ways of educating our kids. And also, that's the other thing. Because you know how it is. You start to make it seem like it's so taboo. You make it more and more taboo, the more curious those kids want to get into it. So instead of doing that, get straight in front of it. Hey, here's the gun. Here's what you do. Nah, you're not touching it yet. We are going to learn this together, bit by bit. And you teach them how to either how to handle the gun properly so that if anything does go down, you know what I'm saying? God forbid something happens and they need to protect themselves. I'm just being real. Sometimes knowing their way around a gun could be life or death for them. But at the same time, they should learn and teach them the right ways of controlling that gun to nauseum, to the point where you exhausted the hell out of them. They know it by rote. Then they know, I don't need to touch that gun. I'm good. Shoot. I'm good. Put the gun down. I don't need it. Like I said, the more you make it taboo, the more exotic it looks like for them. The more enticed, the more intrigued they are to get closer to trying to get their hands on one. And then because they have no training around it, they have no idea how to do anything. They grab it, and then something like this Paris Harvey situation happens, and we lose two beautiful young kids. Two beautiful young futures snuffed out because they didn't know how to act right around a deadly weapon.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.